And we're good to go. Hey, everybody. Hope you guys are all having a good day. Hey, Nicholas. Hope you are personally doing very, very well. Today, we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff here. This is going to be a little bit of a late night crypto type of event. Normally, I'd like to stream at 6 o'clock, but today we're starting at 7 because it's a Friday night. Now, there's a whole host of things to talk about here. And I think the first big thing we should just talk about, and we'll go over some of the news and stuff like that, is Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty. That was a really big news event that happened last night. I was watching, I think, the last call on CNBC because I had heard that they might have a verdict by then, and I saw it in the background, and all of a sudden it said verdict reached, and I actually turned on the volume, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be good. So Sam Bankman-Fried is now guilty. It looks like the sentencing won't happen until March of 2024, so it's going to take a while here. I'll make a dedicated video on Sam Bankman-Fried and my thoughts here, because the new thing here, and oh, hey Larry, happy to see you back, my man. The new thing here, it looks like, is they may have more charges against Sam Bankman-Fried, and the next thing about that is, the charges are most likely going to have to do with campaign finance laws and him breaking those, and him donating to Democrats and Republicans. I've had a chance to do a little bit of research on that, and it seems like 90% it looks like he was going towards Democrats, with like 10% of the money going towards Republicans. And so I don't know if that type of case will actually go to trial, or maybe he'll just plead guilty for it. I heard that being floated around a little bit today while I was watching some CNBC videos on YouTube. But yeah, it's a very interesting time here, let's say that. And so today I wanted to go a little bit in depth about Sam Bankman-Fried, not a lot, but just, kind of covering the CNBC stuff. Then we're going to be looking at what happened with the jobs report today, because that caused the dollar index to just plummet here, just absolutely plummet. Which, I mean, to be frank, I think that's great for stocks. We're still in this weird mode where, how do I even explain it? Bad news is good news, but we're getting closer and closer and closer to bad news actually being bad news, because the jobs reports numbers for the economy were bad today. But if your viewpoint is the average person on Wall Street, what were you exactly thinking? This is the thought process from today. Tapping on my little microphone here. This is the process. Okay, so job numbers come out. They are weak. They're less than expected. That's a good thing. And why would they think it's a good thing? It's because that means that the economy is slowing. That means, in theory, inflation should start to come back down a little bit. And if inflation is coming back down, that means rates don't have to keep on going higher and higher and higher. And if rates don't have to keep on going higher and higher and higher, that's making the market turn into something more of a risk-on environment. And by risk-on, this means you are just allowing yourself to put more money into the market, into more speculative bets. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to go out there as a hedge fund guy and just buy everything and the whole market as a whole goes up. No, it means that those companies that are still profitable and still making growth rates and still doing fine in the long term, you're going to be more willing to buy into those types of companies. The companies that are still doing more poorly overall, they will still continue to struggle. I want you guys to understand that, okay? Especially because if we are slowing down, a lot of things will start to hurt here eventually, and that's when bad news really turns into bad news for the stock market. But as far as I can understand, maybe some of you guys have different opinions, but it doesn't seem like we're there yet. We had a bad jobs report today, and guess what? The stock market went up, rates went down, the dollar index went down, and that's going to have an impact on where we go next. Because if you guys go anywhere on TV or YouTube, I guess, for, CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg, yada, 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 there's a lot of talk of a Christmas rally incoming. And I think these lower rates are actually going to be a boost to that theory that says, hey, we're going to end up having a breakout going into Christmas, and then maybe in 2024, that's when things really start to look ugly for the stock market. But there might be one big boom left, so to speak, where a few mega cap stocks like the Apples and Teslas and stuff like that could have their breakouts, and that could cause the S&P and the NASDAQ themselves to actually continue to go higher and higher and higher, even if you're still seeing things like Disney crash and burn, Target crash and burn, Warner Brothers crash and burn, and things like that, okay? Meanwhile, you see Netflix kind of going more sideways, Microsoft having a bump, Apple, I don't think Apple had a good earnings report, but I think it was okay. So a lot of stuff is happening at this moment in time. But first, let's kind of dive into what's been I guess on the news recently. So I'm still testing out this new thing that I've been doing with my face, so bear with me as I add a proper filter to this. So I added this filter here, and it's supposed to only happen on my main display. So when I add this image mask, you see how it like cuts off part of the outside? Well, now it affects what's happening over here, which is what I want. But I want it to only affect this page and not the page I was just at. So I'm starting to kind of do that, so bear with me a little bit. So, good news about Bitcoin and things like that. We are still broken out. This is the weekly chart. We're still in a good spot. We had a tumble a couple days ago, and we'll go into the technical analysis here after kind of watching over stuff about Sam Bankman-Fried and the jobs report. But we're still in a very good spot, everybody. I do want to remind you guys that most of you guys are probably still taking profits and stuff like that. If you guys bought the last breakout that we had, and your stop loss has not been hit, I'm keeping my positions open. You guys know I took that Matic position just to kind of see where things were going. That well, I don't even have a stop loss on it, but I would not be having a stop loss. I would not be changing anything at this point in time, okay? It looks like Bitcoin may have a little bit more of a consolidation, but again, we'll talk about that in a few seconds here. Now, the first thing is I'm going to turn off my music in the background. Oh. Sorry about the music, guys. See, what do you call it? Sorry about that. See, it's a whole bunch of weird things happening at once on this. I got new software. It's interesting. Sorry about that. But yeah, at least you guys were able to jam. Normally I like to keep the music really low, just because I use this software called Pretzel. You guys have seen me use this plenty of times. If you guys watch any of my 24-hour streams, you guys can, you guys will hear this type of stuff. But every time I use this on a video, I get 1,000 complaints from like Chinese companies saying I stole their music, and then I have to dispute it. And every single dispute I win, but all of the time, what ends up happening is they say, you took our music, you took our music, you took our music. And then I have to go back and say, no, I didn't, and here's the proof, because I've signed up and I paid for this product, so I can stream with you guys without having any issues. But what do you call, sorry about that, yeah, the audio for this new software kind of is weirded out. But anyway, I'm going to pause the music now so we can actually watch what happened with the Sam Bankman-Fried verdict. I'm going to have the audio up quite a bit here, not as much as it, not max, but about 75%, so if you guys have to turn it up, sorry. We're going to watch now. I just want to make sure there's actually no ad here, because ads are just horrible. So let me put the mute button on for now. Ah, there we go. Okay.
Told we
so we should be able to hear it.
And what Kate has, it is reportable. Kate Rooney.
Sam Bankman-Fried guilty on all 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. Confirmed here, Brian. That is confirmed. Sam Bankman-Fried found guilty in his criminal trial. Fraud and conspiracy. I'll read you the counts here. Count 1. Wire fraud for FTX customers. Guilty of that. Count 2, conspiracy to commit wire fraud on FTX customers. Guilty there. Wire fraud here for lenders. Count 4 is conspiracy to commit wire fraud for lenders. We also here, Brian, have count 5, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Guilty on all 7 counts there, Brian.
Okay, let me get out of here before it starts playing an ad or something. Okay, but that was the big news from last night. I don't know if any of you, if you guys were under a rock, you guys didn't know about that, but I think the majority of you guys did. So that saga's pretty much wrapping up right now. Again, like I said, we have 2 big things happening here pretty soon. He's going to be sentenced in March, which is like November, December, January, February, March. I think it's like March 24th, so towards the end of it. 5 months until he's sentenced, which is going to be a while. And then also after that, it looks like we're probably going to have another trial here about campaign finance laws. That's something that I really want to see, because if you guys heard the rumbles back when all this stuff was playing out, like last year when he was in Jamaica and they were trying to get him over here and stuff like that, a lot of people were more concerned, so crypto bros, crypto people like me, we were very concerned about him just going to jail in general. Like what Larry said, lock him up and throw away the key. I'm okay with him going for life. I've seen a lot of people come to his defense and say, oh yeah, maybe just 15 to 30 years for what he's did. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. The former SEC commissioner said that. And that just makes me think he has some type of protection already. But going forward to what's going to happen to him next, I really do believe that if we have a full-on trial, that'll be the best thing for the American public. I have a feeling, though, maybe there won't be a trial and maybe he'll just plead guilty to it. That way, none of the evidence really comes to light, which I think will be a shame for all of us who kind of want to see how he was able to manipulate politicians. Now, maybe we'll find out more about who he exactly manipulated, but I'm more interested in, like, how did he actually find a way to do this? Because it seems like from his previous statements, he was pretending to be a Democrat while he may have just been an egotistical maniac, right? So he pretended that, he was all for the social programs and all that type of stuff, when in reality, he just knew it was easier to kind of pretend to be a Democrat, and especially because, if you guys don't remember, back when all this was happening, Democrats will control the House, right? So it's easier to kind of push those levels if you're going after who's in power. But anyway, that's going to be something I'm really excited to hear about. It's just going to take some time, okay? Now, as far as the second thing right here, this is going to be the jobs report from this morning. It was not good. It was not bad, but I just would say it was not good. It was poor. I think poor is the word I'd be using for this one. So let's listen to this one as well. Please no ad, please no ad, please no ad, please no ad, please no ad.
Just seconds away from the jobs report. Rick, we want it right on time. Take it away.
Yes, we want it right on time. This is the October jobs report. And of course, we're expecting non-farm payrolls to be around 180,000, 150,000, 150,000. That versus 336,000. There are revisions coming. The cumulative revision over 2 months, minus 101,000. So that 336 turns into 297. Now, let's move along, shall we? The unemployment rate, and do keep in mind our last look on the unemployment rate was pretty important because we had 3.8. It moves up again to 3.9. 3.9. 3.9 would be the highest level going all the way back actually to January when we were at 4%. And just for a comparison.
Okay, so you guys get not the best numbers, but here's something that I found out today by kind of like searching ChatGPT and looking at some of the stuff online. So you guys know that, if you guys don't know, well, most of you guys know this. In America, we're having a really bad border issue where we're taking in mass inflows of immigrants. Well, I learned today that those immigrants who have emergency job visas, which is being given out quite a bit, those people show up as new jobs. And so I'm wondering at this point if a lot of the new jobs that are remember, we had a very tight labor market last year where workers had a lot more power. Even though the economy is slowing, we sort of like a blockbuster GDP growth. I'm wondering if all these illegal immigrants that are coming over, then claiming asylum, then getting in like hotel rooms, or sometimes they're staying on the street, if them getting those job visas across the country, I wonder if that's actually going towards all these federal numbers. Now, ChatGPT says yes. The federal, I looked it up on the Federal Bureau of Statistics, whatever it is, at the government site. They said yes, but they don't know how many would be illegal immigrants because they don't actually ask the question if are they a citizen, right, or what their illegal immigration status is. That's the question. They don't actually ask what that is. So I'm wondering if a lot of the jobs we're seeing right now is just immigrants coming in to fill all those gaps. And then if we go into a recession, what exactly happens with that dynamic? Because in theory, there are still hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of jobs that need to be filled. But again, there are those jobs that nobody else wants. But who's going to take them? The immigrants. So you might see this weird thing happen next year where immigrants are still getting hired and hired and hired. It actually looks like pretty good job growth. But Americans are getting laid off from those jobs that are a little bit more cushy, so to speak, right? The office jobs and things like that. Or service jobs, where, you know, a server at a restaurant, things like that. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. I'm trying to find some more information because I don't want to like demonize immigrants or like say Biden's a terrible person or the bureaucracy's trying to lie to us. That's not really the point of this type of stuff. I don't think they are, but I think it's just the way they kind of do the metrics, which kind of surprised me because they kind of tried to answer it in like very vague ways on their website. And it seems that, yeah, if there's an illegal immigrant that comes over here, he gets a work visa and he gets a job, that counts towards those job numbers. and we've had record amounts of people entering the country here. Actually, now my typing was atrocious there. I guess encounters is probably the best way to look at it. See, I don't go down this road too much. Okay, so let me zoom in here very fast for us. Oh, wait, I can actually put my music back on, but now I got to make sure it's on this quiet one here. Yeah, it's on the quiet one now. Okay. The heck did I... Oh, here it is. Okay. So, October 2023. Yeah, so, like, October... Wait a second. September 2023, August of 2023. Why would it be in October over here? October F for year 2023. This makes... I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I see how it works out. Okay. Never mind. I'm reading the chart completely differently. Okay. But in October, 231,000 people came across. November... No, this is so whacked out because there's nothing here. This must be a forecast. I don't even want to attempt to read this chart. Never mind. I'm not going to understand it properly. Previous month, 51,000. Okay, so here's one. August, 51,000. Previous month, 181,000. Yeah, they make this data look complicated on purpose. Let me see. But I'm just wondering if that's actually having an effect. So I'll try to dig deeper into this because that could be a huge skew to the way I view the economy and the actual health of the economy. Because that means things are probably not as good as we think. But I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. But anyway, let's go over here. Let me read you guys' comments. And hey, Geeky Wise, hope you have a good rest of your night, my man. National Jaeger Day. Ooh, that's going to be a nice one, especially at night. What's right here? May he rot? Or hey, Ken. I mean, I think a majority of people that are in the crypto space want Sam Bankman-Fried to go to jail for the rest of his life, and with like no chance of parole. But again, the judge may be lenient with him. But, you know, if you're looking at Sam Bankman-Fried, has he ever said sorry or I feel bad about what's... I haven't really heard that from Sam Bankman-Fried, so I'm not really expecting him to come out and say, I apologize and stuff like that. I'm wondering almost if the judge may punish him a little bit harder, but not anywhere close to the 100 and 150 years, which I think he's the maximum guidelines that the guidelines allow. So, again... If it is televised on March 24th, I will be bringing it to you live because I think it'll be so much fun to watch. Especially I want to see what his parents are doing because I think his parents deserve to be in jail too. It seems like he was funneling money to them to go towards other players. So I'm hoping that his parents also end up in jail. But again, we'll have to see what the evidence shows and stuff like that. See, and hey, Biden, for too many government jobs are being filled. I mean, yeah, the government is still spending money at a record pace. Remember, they want to borrow like $800 billion for 3 months. Not like they want to borrow the money, which means we're going to have interest on that. We're in a spiraling situation here. We're not getting out of it. If you guys remember Pirates of the Caribbean when they have the maelstrom where like the water is like going down like a toilet bowl and they're fighting at the bottom of it. It's literally like our country fighting at the bottom of it, and we're just ready to kind of go towards the bottom. But again, you know, that's decades and decades, or like maybe at max 10 years we can last. I think at max until things start to get really bad, especially because the rest of the world is falling apart. If there was a stable environment, I actually do think America could last like another 20, 30, 40 years of like more and more debt, even though it would just sound incredibly like $100 trillion debt, something astronomical. I still think we might be fine, honestly, but the fact that the world is now on fire, it really like just plummets the chances of us getting out of this unscathed, especially with higher inflation and things like that, not really making things better. And the government really the government's not focused on cutting costs. They're focused on spending more and more and more. And if we have more proxy wars kind of go up, like, you know, Ukraine, I wouldn't say Israel's more of a proxy war, but still that's money going over there. If we're not costs, you know, offsetting that cost somehow, just more debt, more debt, more debt, more debt. Who doesn't like more debt? And hey, Alan, I'm happy to see you back, my man. Biden's a terrible and feeble. I mean, at this point, he really hasn't been doing a great job as far as like managing the world as our presidents typically try to do, right? That's why we literally have bases all across the freaking world. But he's who we got. He's who we got. So maybe we'll have Trump, Haley, DeSantis, somebody over the next couple years. But for now, he's who we got. So we got to like just hope that he can turn things around, or at least understand that his policies haven't been working to the desired effect, and maybe he can tweak it a little bit. He doesn't have to go full Republican, he just has to tweak stuff and make adjustments. I just think that's been his failure, has not been able to tweak and make adjustments thus far. Because I think everything really started with the downfall of at least his foreign policy, when it came to the way in which he withdrew from Afghanistan. Because I was actually in favor of withdrawing from Afghanistan. The only reason I thought we would be there is for those nice minerals that they have, but it seemed like we had kind of taken that maybe rightfully moral high ground. We're not going to take all your resources and that type of stuff, even though we typically do it quite a bit. But now, that kind of led to the Russia stuff, which led to higher oil prices, which led to increased levels of inflation. Not all the inflation, but increased levels of inflation. So, it just has to tweak it. I mean, that's all we can really hope for at this point is tweaks. Small changes that maybe can have some level of improvement over the situation that's currently frothing or bubbling or slowly boiling. Maybe it's a boil to you guys. Maybe I think it's a simmer. And so, but let's wish the best for the man. Not doing the best job, of course, so far, but you got to hope that he can turn it around, right? Because who else, if not Joe Biden, in the next year and a half, whatever, until the next election? Who? I don't like. Is the French president Macron going to come and save the day? That guy's been trying to hop into every single thing he can, and he just got kicked. He got his butt kicked out of Africa. You know how embarrassing that is. Right, so I don't really think there's another country that can kind of come in and say, hey, we're gonna fix all this stuff, because the only one I think that could is China, and I would say America, rightfully so, is probably just gonna go up to China and give them the good old middle finger and say nah, and then as soon as America says nah, then everything goes back to square one, right? So it's a hassle, but we should be able to figure it out. The last thing I think all of us want is just for it to escalate to a World War III status where nukes are dropping off. I don't think we're anywhere close to that. I don't think anybody wants that. But just the fact that people are talking about it, that's never a good thing. But you guys remember, the Israeli war has been going on. The Ukrainian war has been going on. The stock market does not care. The stock market does not care. And so Bitcoin does not care. So, at least for now, at least it looks like some of our positions are in good hands and things like that. And we'll be talking about that for the next few minutes. Now, as far as everything's concerned, build a new prison with Sam Bankman-Fried as the foundation. That's some mafia stuff right there. And hey, Monster, hope you're doing well. Weren't his parents involved? I think they were. I'm surprised they weren't charged, but I think they'd be charged in this next round that has to do more with campaign finance law violations and not so much of what was actually happening at FTX. That's what I'm thinking of is happening. So I would say Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, the debacle, Alameda, that whole pile of trash, that's this year's business. Next year with Sam Bankman-Fried, we're going to have his parents charged, in my opinion, and then Sam charged again, although I think Sam may plead guilty and his parents may plead not guilty, and they may try to fight it. And then we might have an opportunity to kind of see underneath the hood and see how he was actually manipulating politicians, because from some of the research I did, I think there was even a few Twitter guys that actually posted everything. I'll show you to you before we start getting into this deeper analysis on Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Talking about Matic again a little bit as well, and some other stuff going on. Oh, Sam Bankman-Fried. All right, let me look over here very fast for it because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Oh, there it is. This is very easy to find. I'm happy. So this is from Unusual Whales. And so this is basically, let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys. All right. So Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty. However, around 40% of Congress received donations from Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX that were mixed user funds. Okay, so only a few politicians returned or donated their funds. So we're gonna kind of like go through this very fast, and again, I'll make a video more in detail than this, where exactly this money was going. But here is the first one. I'm starting in the bottom right hand corner and then kind of slithering my way back up. Sam Bankman-Fried donations to candidate attached PACs. So Debbie Stable now, Susan Collins was a big one. Padilla Alex, not sure what this one's empty. Margaret Wood, Hakeem Jeffries got some money. Gottenheimer got some money. Gillibrand. These are a lot of New Yorkers right here. Jake, Sean Patrick, so you can see Joe Manchin, Craig Angela Dawn, that's a Republican. Lisa, so that's a Democrat. Lisa Murkowski, Republican. Patty Murray, my senator. Cassidy William, that's a Republican. Pete Aguilar, so, and then Senator John Boozman. But Debbie Stabe now? I don't know who this lady is. So Debbie Stabe now is this lady. From Michigan, huh? I do not see her picture anywhere, but let's go over to Wikipedia. I've seen her before. So this lady was getting the majority of the money. Now, as far as what she does, I'm not entirely sure what... If I type in Senate, they should have an actual profile of her for the government. There you go. Oh, geez, no, I just want the government official site. U.S. Senate. They really make it hard to find her information here. Hold on. There's a way to get around this. Because this is kind of showing how the sausage is made, as all the politicians are always saying. Alright, there we go. Now I can type her senators. What's her Stabe now? Oh, it's sending me right back to website. Yeah, it's not actually letting me know more about her. That is weird. Because normally when you go to these types of websites, sorry to kind of linger on this a little bit, guys, but when you go to these types of websites, they'll tell you exactly what she does. Oh, there it is. Committee assignments. There you go. Okay, it wasn't hidden. I'm just a dumbass. Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry. Committee on the Budget. Committee on Environment and Public Works, and Committee on Finance. No wonder. See, there's the connection. Finance and the budget. She knows what she's doing. She got paid a lot of money, it looks like, or her PAC got paid a lot of money. I should maybe say that a different way. So yeah, that explains it. She's a powerful person, and I guess Committee on Finance. Membership, jurisdiction rules, subcommittees, majority. Yeah, so she's in the majority right now. I don't know if anybody else was on here. Marsha. No, I don't see anybody else at this point that was else on that list. No, I don't see Patty Murray on here. Maria Cantwell's on there. She's my other senator here. But yeah, so that is going to be interesting to kind of see what happens next. After that, you go over here. Donations to PACs again. Democratic Grassroots Victory Fund. Opportunity for Tomorrow. A lot of money. I don't need to read all that type of stuff, but a lot of PACs over there. A lot. The DCCC. A lot of money over there. Then you got Alabama Conservatives Fund and NRCC. So a lot of money flying out the door, as you guys might expect. And the last one I'll probably go over here. Donation to PACs. Protect Our Future PAC. Oh, no. This is not really much here. Anything else here? Wow, that's a lot of money flowing through here. This is a lot of state committee things that he donated money to. DSCC, Biden Victory Fund, Heartland Resurgence. See at the top, NRCC, he was going for Republicans. I can barely read this, so I know you guys can barely read this. Yeah, but definitely a lot of money was going towards politicians, and those politicians seem to be on key committees that would actually have a good impact on the regulations and legislation that would actually affect the entire crypto industry going forward. So, I think that's something to at least be aware of when we're thinking about what happens next year, and we learn more about how this crypto money was being used to, in essence, manipulate laws in order to benefit FTX. And I guess the rumor is benefit FTX at the expense of Binance. All right. So we'll see how all that works out. But again, it'll be very interesting to see if what evidence is actually allowed to be shown to people, and if this hearing or these trials will actually be able to be viewed by the public. We weren't able to watch the Sam Bankman-Fried trial. I think that was a huge mistake as far as the ability to try and be transparent. Nobody seemed to throw a big hustle about it because the only people that really cared were the crypto community, and people don't really take us seriously, to be frank, right? And so maybe down the road they'll have another opportunity to maybe do that, and maybe if it's not Sam Bankman-Fried, maybe they can, they'll be more willing to do it because Sam is the head of the snake, so to speak. See, anybody for, yeah, I mean, government jobs going up quite a bit. I don't know who the heck they're trying to hire. Maybe all those IRS agents. But what do you call, job is a job, and if they want to manipulate the jobs numbers by doing that, yeah, I mean, it's part of the process. I do think we should have a jobs number, honestly, where it takes out like jobs X, jobs X government. I think that'd be a good way to look at it. Because that way it can take away from job losses as well. People leave the government jobs, or, but we'll see. If there's a shutdown, that number is going to plummet, though, because they won't have the ability to hire anybody. I think that's what everybody's freaking out about, because that job number would go down quite a bit. All right, but as far as Bitcoin's concerned, let's just zoom out a little bit. We're still in a good spot. I know we had that 700-point drop the other day. People freaked out. I told you guys people freak out in those types of moments, and I totally understand it. Oddly enough, none of my stop losses hit. So I'm still kind of in this waiting mode where I still have tons of long positions, but there hasn't been an incentive for me to leave many positions here. The only swing trade that actually had the stop loss hit was STMX, and that's because it's been popping over the last few days. And I still have my longs on that one on the Fairdesk, and I'll show that to you in a second, but those are still working out. All I'm looking at right now is this big level of resistance. I don't even know what you guys want to see that level of resistance as. I want to think of it more as this huge block, where all I want to see us do is consolidate for a little bit of time. We're perfectly fine. There's nothing crazy. You guys remember the other day I showed you guys this trend line here, and I told you guys if we had a big down, it was 2 days ago. I told you guys if we had a big down day, all of a sudden everybody would be talking about this type of chart and how we're hitting that level of resistance and things like that. All I think this really means is we just need to consolidate a little bit more. You guys do know how I feel about moving averages, and one of the things that's occurring at this point in time is we just had a golden cross between the 200, the 200, yeah, and the 20. Nothing has really happened here all so much because of these golden crosses in the past. Again, we really have never had the 20 really interfere with the 200 before, right? Historically, they come close, but they've just never crossed. And so now that we're seeing it right now, it really actually hasn't had that much of an effect on the overall price of Bitcoin. Now, even with the 50 crossing below the 200, it doesn't seem to have made that much of a difference. If you guys remember what happened over here, this wasn't an organic crash down in the market. In fact, what was this? This was just a financial scare from when, Silicon Valley Bank went down and the rates were going up too fast, and the bank structure kind of buckled a little bit. And then the government came in to rescue everybody, paid everybody more than their insurance was worth, and everybody was happy. Things went on and on. Bank stocks haven't recovered all the way, but as an American, most people feel safe about having their money in a bank still. They're not doing bank runs and things like that, right? Yeah, so the next big thing here is what? Now we're looking at the 50-week moving average crossing above the 200. Historically, for stocks, that's always a fantastic thing that you guys want to see. Again, we don't have any clue if this has ever happened. Well, it's never happened before, so we don't exactly know if it's going to have an impact, and therefore I wouldn't even think of it as having a major impact until I see it once with my own eyes, which means it'll be for the next time it happens, which might be a long time. But what we do have coming up is our first opportunity to see a golden cross between the 20 and the 50. Historically, that has been a good time. Now, as you guys can see, we had one back over here in 2019. We pumped. It did not go much higher after the pump before we eventually had a move down, and then we kind of turned into a bullish market, right? Right here, a pump. Afterwards, came crashing down. But then overall, we kept on moving up, right? And I think that's what everybody's looking for at this point in time. See right here? We've had this crossover here. Have that nice pump ever since. Had another one right there between the 20 and the 200. You know, now that we've kind of had all that. Sorry, my train of thought is like drifting as I think about this. I guess the only way we have to go now is perhaps if the 20 crosses below the 50. But that doesn't look like it would happen anytime soon. It would happen sometime in December if it was going to happen even at all anytime soon. But at this point, we're still at that nice level. So let me show you guys. Let me just go over here actually to Fairdesk while I'm actually zoomed in a little bit here. Can I go here to futures? Now, they're in system maintenance, looks like right now. So I'm not entirely sure if I can open up any trades. Maybe tomorrow I'll actually do some live long-term buys with you guys. But just as a recap here, let me take off my head. All right. Ape token still up 33%. Blur's up 29. I think we bought Blur the other day. We bought Blur 1030, so like 4 days ago. Right now it's up 29%. So it's doing pretty well. Bitcoin's still up 36. Comp is down 4. Cyber's down 6. Ethereum is up 28. HFT is down 36. Hot up 20, ICP up 40, Key is down 9. I think we bought Key the other day, right? Yeah, Key was bought. No, Key was bought a while ago, 1025, never mind. Anything else here? Looks is up 37. We have RNDR down 19. I think that's what we bought the other day. Yeah, 1030, yeah. And we got Unif is still down 4%, and XVG is down 15%. We got a lot of stuff that's up, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of focusing on the negatives right now just to kind of see what's going on. And then we have that Polygon that we bought earlier. That has not moved at all. It's up 0.53%. I was hoping that breakout might go on, but again, we really haven't had a crash even though we broke out. So I'm still holding on to that position. This is the only short-term position that I have right now. The rest of them are just for, you know, enjoying and looking at it for the long term. But yeah, it looks like there's some system maintenance going on or something there. Yeah, so overall, things have been doing okay. I want to spend a quick couple seconds just kind of going over what's been happening on... Let's go to the other Bitcoin chart here. There we go. What's been going on from your most basic of basic technical analysis that we all love to do so much? Let me get rid of this price action concepts. Yeah, let me get rid of that. It's hard to say if we broke down today. I would probably say yes, we did. Yeah, I would say yes, we did. To me, that kind of symbolizes a little bit more consolidation is needed. We still have higher highs. We're still in a good spot. You know, you add on the MACD here. You see that? You guys can see that MACD, I'm pretty sure. But just in case you can't, let me open up the legend here and change up some of the settings. You guys can see that daily MACD getting ready for that crossover here after the momentum has been slowing quite a bit. That's just kind of a red flag there. Not enough to make me think Bitcoin's crashing back down here to 30,000, 31,000. Not like that. But enough, again, where you could say consolidation needs to occur before a potential maybe dip and rip type of event for Bitcoin. I think that's what people are really hoping for at this point. Right now, I don't think it's likely that we just have a sudden pop. I think, again, this is one of those accumulation phases where you guys are looking to buy in things that are at levels of resistance, but you're only looking to add in small positions because maybe a lot of them have already run up quite a bit so far. So just be careful that you don't try to hop into something that's already blown up with no stop loss and things like that. But one of the other things here is, you guys know I like to have my own things in here. 20. My one that lags a little bit more, we can even keep this at 9. We're well away from that. We have like maybe a few more days until Monday before that crossover might occur. So I'm hoping that whereas normally the MACD, the basic one, it has less lag. It may give us a false signal every now and again. I'm hoping that my MACD will maybe, in hindsight, right, it may show off that we came close to having that crossover, but never really did with the extra lag that I like to have in my MACDs, okay? All right. Now, going forward on top of that, just one other thing here. This is more of a fun thing that I like to do because, you know, sometimes we just forget how far Bitcoin's come since the FTX crash back where my head was. Because now we got our highs and our official lows. Just don't forget about some of these Fibonacci levels here. Let's go over to the hour chart. Right. It was a level of resistance. We broke out above it, came crashing back down. It turned back into a level of resistance. And so just don't forget that we are dealing with that level. It seems to be around like 35,000. The only reason I don't bring it up too much is, you know, most people would just assume 35,000. So usually a level of support like 34,000, 35, 36, 37. Even when we broke through 34,000, it was just such a freaking massive pop that nobody really cared because everything was just getting broken at the time. All right. But you are seeing, according to those moving averages as well, just a complete halting of momentum. It hasn't turned, I would say, negative yet. Because buyers keep on coming in here, and that really makes me happy because everybody's so hopeful about what's going to happen. But how much more patient are people going to be when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies if we're not hearing that good news about the Bitcoin ETF being approved? Because even if the Bitcoin ETF was approved and Bitcoin somehow fell down to 32,500, like all the way down here, it would immediately spike just like what we saw right there. And I think that's why everybody's just not selling right now. Nobody's panicking because everybody's just waiting for that good news. If it's not good news, that's where the stop losses are going to kick in. You're going to see a lot of liquidations occur because everybody's just going to mass sell. But at this point, does the SEC have the cojones, so to speak, in order to do that? I don't think they do, especially is because they've been losing case after case after case after case after case. And you know, Gary Gensler, he's more on the side of those few Democrats in the Senate who really just don't like cryptocurrency because they see it only as a fraudster's paradise, so to speak, where people make a scam, they take money from average working Joes, and they run off with the money into the night, and regular people suffer the day. That's not how I see cryptocurrency, but that's how they see cryptocurrency. So there's a few of them, like Senator Elizabeth Warren and Mr. Brown of Ohio, who want cryptocurrency banned. That's never going to happen. It's just not, because cryptocurrency is so much of the economy now. And it's only going to get bigger, of course. But just, you know, understand there still is a chance, but I'm hoping that they just are smart because they've lost so many cases. It says, hey, we're going to approve this, and poof. Hopefully that's the way it all ends up. But right now, you guys can see we're still going higher, we're making higher lows and all that good stuff here. It's going to just be boring for a little bit, as it can sometimes be. Now, as far as everything else, I talked to you guys about this about a half an hour ago now. But because of what we had happen with that jobs report being so poor today, you had the dollar index completely crash. And that's a good thing here if you guys want to see the stock market go up. We had been talking about this level of support that we were trying to hold on to, and we had been like testing it out week after week after week. We are completely broken down below it. We might have some support back down here closer to 104. But at this point, we've had that golden cross, which typically is a very bad thing in the dollar index market because that means the dollar is getting more powerful. However, that's probably going to be our next level of support because it's going to match up here to whatever this level is at this point, like 104.67. So just keep an eye on it over the next few days. But this is good news for those of you guys that want the stock market to go up. Normally, I'd be saying, okay, maybe this going up is not good for the overall crypto market. Crypto market has not cared. It's been going up, and that's mostly been a news-driven event, sure, but it's been going up nonetheless, and that's something that we should be able to take into account for the next time we have this dollar rally. Historically, whenever we have these golden crosses, you know, usually something big happens afterwards. You know, the price goes up quite a bit, but, you know, sometimes we have these ones where I think we're looking at the 20 and the 50 on this one, aren't we? Yeah, 20 and the 50. There are times like this where the 20 goes over the 50, and then we maybe have one larger move, but then overall we steady back down a little bit. And maybe that's what we're looking for. historically, it doesn't happen. I mean, it doesn't happen all too often. You can see this little head and shoulders right here. You know, these are extraordinary times, so perhaps that can help us out a little bit here. The world's on fire. It's going to be very hard to figure out where rates are going. I think that's just the general consensus. Now, oil continuing to come down, has officially broken down. The weaker economy is definitely driving things down. If you guys have been in oil for as long as I have, you're probably still holding. But if you guys bought oil over the last few weeks, some of your stop losses are probably getting hit right now. If you're in there for the dividends, you're probably going to be fine. If you're in there for a swing trade, just be careful and monitor the continuing deterioration of the economy, because it seems to be getting worse, not better. All right. Now, as far as everything else, ADA still pumping up, and this is where I like, we're still seeing altcoins pump up, even though Bitcoin's been having its poor day. ADA managed to pump up quite a bit yesterday. Dogecoin still doing okay, still breaking out, hasn't broken back down. XRP still going up slightly, not a lot, but still going up and grinding up with some higher lows. Ape token consolidating. To me, if Bitcoin continues this move up, Ape token is still going to be something where I think it can go up to 160, even $2 over the next month or so, if Bitcoin continues to keep on going up. This thing is just ready to pop here. And I say that because it has crashed so much, okay? And you know, once the Ape token people start getting crazy again, they already have a social media machine ready to go to pump them up, which I like with cryptocurrencies if they have that machine kind of already established. Now this is AVAX, not really something I hold for the long term all too much, but something that's about to pop over the 200. You can see the golden cross is already screaming up here between the 20 and 50 and that 200 that's going to be coming over the next few weeks. I'm excited about that. Last time we had those golden crosses, we had slight pops around that area, but it's at that level of resistance. It's ready to go. I'm happy with it. And I'm happy to say that even though Bitcoin had that scary 700-point drop, the market didn't seem too fazed by it. Altcoins didn't seem too fazed by it. AXS, something similar here. Had a little bit more of a formal rejection, but still doing okay. Bitcoin Cash still consolidating. Not my favorite, honestly. I'm kind of staying away from this one right now. Matic, I told you guys about the breakout. It's still holding that support level here, and we're going to see what happens next. Next few days, we do have that 200 coming down, and that's actually going to give us a good opportunity to have that pop here. So keep an eye out for that. I still have that long. I'll tell you guys if I sell that long. I'm still bullish on it for now. And my stop loss in the hit. You got BNB and you got other things right now. Still doing fine. Even Crow Coin, still had that pop. Sheeb is something I'd say have fun with this one if you guys get the chance. It seems like a perfect buying opportunity. Your stop loss would only be like 2 to 3%, so not much at all. And then you're just going to wait to see if it rips up here, if Bitcoin can make that consolidation again over the next few days. Or if it can just pump itself. There have been a few tokens that have just been ripping for out of nowhere, but they have been more of the lower market cap ones, not necessarily the ones that have a higher market cap like Shiba Inu. That's Dogecoin Mars, EOS, Ethereum Classic, broke out above the 200, still holding. Again, we're in a pretty solid spot. The one that most people have been watching, I think, because BitBoy's been pumping this one up, is Solana. Well, he's been pumping it up as much as he can, but he's just mostly just talking about and hyping it up. Still doing fun. Not at the highs of 47.28. It's back down to 40. I think this is a decent accumulation range if you guys are hoping for another short-term swing trade. Your stop loss is going to be $37.19. More realistic if you guys are expecting a nicer pop, especially because you have this idea of a bottom neckline, broke out, retested support, and now it's launching. If you think historically this is normally a good opportunity to start buying, I would only be holding up until $1.20, but I'm sure this thing may go higher if, again, Bitcoin can just consolidate or continue to go higher. If Bitcoin consolidates between where we are now and like 33,000, it gives room for altcoins to really gain dominance back up against Bitcoin, which I think everybody is really excited about. If you guys go into the Cryptoverse guy, Ben, he always talks about Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance is pretty darn high right now. I almost think of it as a massive squeeze, where once the squeeze, once the squeeze is released, that's kind of where altcoins really have their big pumps here. And again, we'll have to wait, but so far so good. Oh, and hey, Kilo Troll, happy to see you back, man. Let me know if you have any questions here. Right now, we're just kind of going over the basic technicals, and everything seems to be pretty good here, guys. We're not really concerned about much. You know, the slowing down of momentum, things like that, sure, but you know, I'm still looking at like 33,200. As long as we really don't break down below that, I'm not all too concerned. every time we've had these pretty decent dumps, and, you know, by decent dump, I mean like from high to low, what was this? 5% dump as far as Bitcoin. That's a 1,700 point drop. Buyers kept on coming back in. We had another pump a few days ago. I was live during this one. Came down 5%. Buyers still seem to be there. And again, that 5.5%. That was 1,800 points down for Bitcoin. Still seems to be doing fine. And even when we have these larger dumps, people are still, they're still buying. And I think everybody's just waiting for that news. After the news drops, if we are approved, we should have a big move. I would most likely sell a lot of my swing trade positions during that time, and then look to buy even more once everything comes back down. Sell the news type of thing. But yeah, I guess sell the news here in this situation, and then just wait for those support levels to get hit again, and then buy up a lot more at those positions. I'm not really, my personal portfolio isn't, a swing trade portfolio isn't really set up to buy right now. A lot of the stuff I bought was all over the past few weeks here. So at this point, I'm more in my scale out zone. If you guys are buying, I would assume the majority of you guys, your stop losses haven't hit over the last few days. Although, if you're getting those butterflies in your stomachs and stuff like that, because maybe the price has gone back down to where it was closer to where you bought it. Let's say you bought it over here or something like around 34,500, and now it's back to 34,700. Maybe a little bit more concerned because you guys probably thought it was going to keep on going back up. And then, there wasn't a volume, plummeted back down, stuff like that. I would just continue to hold on and wait for the consolidation to kind of make its, do its thing, so to speak. Let it continue cooking here. But yeah, I'll do another story on FTX here pretty soon. Let's get rid of that. And, I'll add some more positions here later on once this system maintenance is back to normal. I don't want to mess stuff up with the maintenance. Well, I don't want to potentially mess stuff up. I have no idea if I can buy. I'm pretty sure I could, but every now and again you have a bad situation here. All right. Any more news here? UAW, I don't really care about them as far as right now. The Gaza stuff is still bubbling, but not getting worse. Anything else? No, we're pretty good. Okay. Now, there are a few things I just wanted to talk to you guys about as far as like maybe what's popping off today, but there's not really much popping off. You guys know I like to see what's normally happening, but there's nothing happening at this point. All right. Here's a few other things here. So this is for you guys like the overall stock market. I'm just going to tweak this quite a bit. All right. We are very far away from any breakouts as far as the Dow. The Dow's been doing its own thing really compared to the SPY and the NASDAQ over the past like 2 to 3 quarters. However, it has had a pretty robust bump back up ever since we had to deal with this crash last week. Minor crash, right? Something cool about the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, though, is right at that level of resistance. I would say next week, if we continue to follow the overall trend, I think it'd be a good opportunity here to start loading up on some short positions or some puts. I would say start nibbling, right? I wouldn't go all in, but I would nibble. And then if we have some type of consolidation close to this point right here, a breakout, and then we break down from that consolidation, that's where we really want to attack it heavy. I would say I would really nibble first. I wouldn't necessarily just attack like crazy. You could even see right here. See a little breakdown? See how it's stagnated for just a day before coming back down? I think we're going to have something similar to that. As far as everything else is concerned with the NASDAQ and stuff, let's go to the weekly chart. Earnings kind of saved us, but all of a sudden we're back up here towards levels of resistance. Next week is probably going to be pretty bearish as far as the stock market's concerned. But, if we have more bad data, maybe that'll be very good for the market because we're so rate centric at this point. Everybody's looking at what are the rates going to be doing over the next few days. But I would still say, unless we break out, I'm still going to be buying some puts at this point. I really don't see the benefit of trying to go long into the market here. Maybe go long into certain stocks, but overall, we go over here, we look at stuff like Apple, right? Apple had a negative day, but a green candle just because of how the earnings went off the other day. maybe this is the best way to show it. You know, everything's kind of hitting those levels of resistance, but as soon as you know, well, let me just take off everything. As soon as you kind of just go back into that neutral, hey, what is the chart saying? We're in a downtrend. We're heading for death crosses between the 20-day moving average and the 200, and the 50-day moving average and the 200 here. The only caveat being is maybe, again, we have some type of really good news coming out. I don't see how that happens. But that news causes a golden cross between the 20 and the 50. Those are some of the little loopholes I'm looking at right now. I'm like, ooh, that could be something. But for now, I'm not really hoping for it. Because you can see right here, we had a death cross. That's not necessarily a good thing when it comes to stocks. But we bounced back up. But overall, the trend kept on going back down. So there's really weird things that happen all the time here. But I'm keeping my eye on it. Long story short, though, for a lot of these things, the market is definitely trying to pump itself back up. Let's get rid of that stuff. Look at that. Amazon went back from 118 to 138. So within this 1 week, or 6 days, it popped up 20%, 17%. Does that seem normal to you guys? This is what cryptocurrencies do, and the media is not really talking about it. And I don't know exactly what this means, because historically, the stock market's volatile, but not this volatile. Amazon up 20% in a week. That just seems crazy. And again, earnings can play a part to a certain degree, but it just seems like the market naturally wants to go up, but the bad news keeps on getting more bad news, more bad news, more bad news. AMD over here broke out a while ago, crashed all the way back down to another low for 2023, or excuse me, this quarter, and then managed to break back out after an earnings report here. Although I would say earnings was not that good for AMD. But they said the words AI, 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 and then they decided, the process went up. Tesla, very weak position here. Again, more death crosses incoming here. The weekly charts on this one are pretty crazy, though. This has not had that rally back up here like we were expecting. Or like everything else was, I would say. Disney, finding a level of support. If you guys are looking to buy Disney, this is literally the time to do it. I would not buy Disney for short-term gains, but if you guys are hoping that they can switch around their cash cow, their like Marvel series and stuff like that, this is where you guys are hoping you can buy back into them. I'm pretty sure they have earnings coming up next week. Yeah, it's coming up next Wednesday. So keep an eye on that. Everything else, again, we're at this weird spot. At least Google didn't make its way back up here, but Google was at all-time, well, not all-time, was at highs just a few weeks ago here. 141, yeah. This market is in denial, and I kind of love it, but at the same time, it's in denial. The banks are in denial. But although the banks, oh, this is not right here. The banks may try to break out here fairly soon, though. Only because they've been down for so long. Okay, there we go. What's up? Hey, Buff, is Bitcoin going to 39K tonight? I'd probably say no unless we have some really good news. Right now, we're stuck in this consolidation phase where all the momentum has been slipping back down slowly but surely. And at this point, we may have something more of a dip and rip type of effect where the people that are most likely going to make money throughout this next potential pop are the people that just buy and hold with a stop loss of like $33,000, which means, you're risking about $1,600, $1,700 at this point, per Bitcoin, so to speak. And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for that next big pop to happen. In order for Bitcoin to hit up to 39,000, it's going to have to be a pretty big move. And of course, sometimes when we're looking at different candles patterns, you're going to see this get struck back down next week, potentially, where we have a larger crash. I'm not there yet just because Bitcoin has been doing well and we do have the potential for news. And again, every single time we have these dumps, buyers have been coming back in, like I said, to kind of keep us rolling. Until we start breaking back down below, I'm looking at this point right here above my head. Until we start breaking down below 33,200, I'm not really all too concerned. Once we start breaking down below that, then I'm actually like, okay, we might end up coming back down to 33,000, 32,500 to start testing out levels of support and then looking for some type of move back up. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but it is still a real possibility here, especially because all of a sudden everybody is so hyped up with cryptocurrency And I think there's a lot of people who are seeing this as a very good opportunity to shave off some profits if they spent the last few months accumulating over here, right? You had, let's just say this. You had about 203 days of accumulation here, which was boring. And now with the big gap, there are tons of people who are taking some profits here. But more people, I would say, are just hoping that, again, you know, let's not be impatient. Where it's okay if we spend a few weeks over here if it means we have that another leg up and we don't actually break back down and start heading back down to 25,000. I think that's the calculation that a lot of people are making. But if you are day trading at this point, or actually if you're day trading, you really don't have much to worry about because you're not expecting any big moves over the next few days. Like you go over here, it's like a 15-minute chart. Look we're just at. You know, there's not really much here. You can see some levels of support, some general old levels of resistance here. Right? Not really all too much. And even that level of resistance isn't that good because we broke out above it. You're mostly just sticking around and doing some teeny trades. Maybe a breakdown incoming here based on how this is kind of hooking over. But, you know, for those swing traders out there, you're more likely than not looking at this smaller breakdown and assuming that we're going to have a little bit more of a consolidation going forward where down, up, and then something more higher. Now, this may happen next week. It may happen the week after. Who cares? Not my point at this particular junction. It's the fact that we cannot break down below either 33,390 or my preferred support level 32,200. What was that? What's the 4-hour one? I like this one better. Yeah, 33,200. So that's what I'm looking for at this point in time. It's just that we don't break down below some of these lower levels. As long as we stay above those, I don't mind if we start consolidating and get more bumpy here. Because the short term still looks like we want to come down a little bit more. But it doesn't say anything about crashing. And that's kind of one of the reasons I opened up that MACD earlier and kind of showed you why I twisted it to add a little bit more lag to it. Because I think that lag is probably going to help some people out if they don't have stop losses and stuff like that. Because you can even go over here to, let's go with some of the Lux Algo ones. Let me not use a paid one. Let me use a free one that I have here. Maybe I already have one kind of set up. Yeah, here's one. So let's go over here to a 4-hour. All right. Even this is probably still saying bullish. I'm going to go to the color candles. Yeah. So this one is still pretty bullish over here. This change of character kind of messed us up. But that's why you don't look at this just alone. That's why I told you guys before, we don't want to break down below this level of support. Same concept. Right now, we don't really want to break down below, I guess, what the level is over here, around 34,000. We don't want to break down below that. I think there's still a possibility that would do. But again, I don't want to break down below this and this one. This section over here is much more valuable to me. But maybe that's just because I like to have a little bit more wiggle room when it comes to my stop losses. So I'm okay with it coming down, me losing some money potentially for a few days, while it consolidates further and gets a nice big boom down the road, right? Some people don't like that type of trading. I'm okay with it just because I have the stop loss, I have the price target, I know how much I'm going to lose if it doesn't go my way, and that way I'm totally comfortable with the position I take. If you guys don't have those stop losses or you guys are doing spot trading, a lot of times the exchanges when you're doing spot trading do not allow stop losses, so you're like, oh, ick. I think one of the reasons they do that is because they don't incur fees on it, so they don't want to do more transactions than they have to. But I still think that's going to be kind of important down the road. Okay, guys, just making sure. Let's see, I think this even there's a setting in here. Premium discount zones, no. I might have to go to the premium one because normally there's a little box here. Show swing structure. Swing structure probably still good to have over here. Yeah, I had a breaking structure there. Oh, okay. Price action concepts. Scanner. It's up here, but it's so tiny. Dashboard top right, dashboard sides large. There we go. Chart. No, it's still positive. Yeah, I don't know why. They used to have the full boxes here where they would say the 15-minute, the hour, the 4-hour, and the daily. That's why I loved it. I'm probably not using this the proper way, but I want to see that box there somewhere. Okay, but that's fine. But my point being the same. We're still in a very bullish atmosphere. People are just going to be freaked out until we actually have a nice pop here, because consolidation is usually the scariest time for the investor, because they're just waiting to see what happens next, because they don't have anything else better to do. Can you tell me your thoughts on my Comcast? I have you look at it all the time. Yeah, let's see. Actually, I was just at the Comcast store today. I mean, just like everything else, it had a bad, rough end to last week. It came back. I mean, it broke through a lot of support levels, didn't it? In a short amount of time. At least the body didn't close down below, right? It didn't close down below some of those support levels. I mean, that downtrend still looks pretty ugly here. If you're playing the bounce, I think you're fine, but that downtrend still doesn't feel like it's in the right spot. Let me go back over here very fast. Now, this isn't going to look good at all, but you can see this general breakdown that occurred. This way. There you go. So you can see that breakdown that occurred. We came all the way back down. I would even say... No, nothing stopped this thing from coming back down. This thing. There's that support level. Just freaking crashed through everything. I think it just shows that there's not a lot of people that really believe in this, because the next day it was terrible. Because like we had earnings that dropped it down, but the following day it still ended up being even worse. Overall, I would still say not something I'd be looking to buy long here. Long term, perhaps it might have a little bit of a recovery. That's where you have to kind of zoom out a little bit and be like, hey, what's it looking like? You know, there's a lot of other types of stocks that haven't had this nice rally here, like Intel and things like that. You know, I'd still say look at that death cross incoming here. But short term here, I'd be looking for opportunities to short this, unless, again, we kind of get this little breakout here. In which case, you could go long for a little bit, but I don't know if I would actually trust myself to go long here if I can just find that rectangle. What's the best way to do this? Yeah. Right. If we start breaking out of this, I don't know why I made it so large. If we start breaking out of this, then I'm starting to get a little more bullish. Because we are at that range where we're looking at that 50-day moving average, probably along with that breakout, I'd also want to see it break above that. And then I'd feel a lot more comfortable, because that could show, since this thing has actually fallen down so much, stabilization enough for people to make a trade. So I think you'd see Wall Street making a trade, but not an investment on it, so to speak. And I think that's the proper way to play this. Because, I mean, just look at that whiplash. Like, it's so funny to see stocks acting like cryptocurrencies these days when there's like no reason for them to do so. I mean, like, I know this was an earnings event, but heck, it's still the same thing. In 3 days, it fell down 13%, and now all of a sudden it managed to pop back up here a whole 14%. Not what you want to see. Yeah, I know it's discount. It's at resistance, so I wouldn't even be buying right now. If you bought anything over the last few days, you'd be selling at this point or scaling out at the least. At minimum. But you're right there. You're ready to pop up another level. And I think, again, because of the way rates are going, the dollar index going down, I do think there's a chance for it to break out, but I'd just still wait for that breakout to occur. Because what did we just talk about? Everything is also looking, like the Nasdaq's ready to looking to break out. The SPY is getting closer, but not there yet. It's all looking closer. In fact, if you wanted to look at it a certain way, you know, the SPY on a shorter term thing, right? Close. Drag it over here. It already had that mini breakout. But I would still say, you know, from the highs going forward, this is still that level. Short term, though, I would definitely see a lot of people looking to do a week long for a lot of positions. Up until this point, kind of mixed in with the point we just talked about right here. But, you know, everything looks like it's primed at resistance levels. Just wait for the pop if you want to double down on anything now. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's going more sideways here, and I feel like we may have a week or so where Bitcoin's going more sideways until that news, and then stocks are going up a little bit here. What am I? 4-hour chart here. Because I mean, look at that sideways action. There's nothing excited or sexy about that. It's sexy in moments, but not overall. You're like, Think of how many people got terrified right here off of Bitcoin dropping down like $1,700, right? And that's if they bought heavy up here, right? Most people, if they bought up here, their stop loss was way closer, and then they were just waiting for that rally to continue. Let's see. And Dutch Trader, happy to see you back. Hey, Michael, I painted myself into a corner with Nikolai a while ago. Any light ahead? Let's see. I mean, it's definitely not the best of positions, but I think you may be able to take... I don't know if they have any really big events coming on later on this late in the quarter here. Let's look at the chart first. I mean, it's definitely been dumping for a while. It found a little bit of support, bounced back up a little bit. I'm assuming this is some type of short squeeze, though. After the initial short squeeze over there. Yeah, because all I'm seeing with this is another breakdown, right? Oh, no, it hasn't broken down yet. You know, honestly, I'd probably continue to hold on to this in the short term, even the medium term, because what I'm seeing at this point is I know earnings, or let me see, were earnings this week? Yeah, so earnings were this week, so we don't have to worry about any crazy volatility here. What I'm looking at here is, you see how momentum has shifted over the last like month or so, few months, excuse me, and then what you're seeing is about to have a golden cross here. I think that's enough to boost it up a little bit. And then from there, I would really just be going with your standard Fibonacci's. Now, it looks like my price target would probably be around $4 normally. But I think there's a good chance we get it at least back up to $2 for like at least 100% gain. I would say this is going to be something more of, it's going to get a rally. People are going to be buying into it. Having fun with it. But I would say for the next few weeks, until you get something that's more parabolic or more sexy, so to speak, I would just be aiming for. Keep in mind where that actually, no, for now, let's do this. I'd be looking for a consolidation, then a breakout, followed by the golden cross there above those two moving averages, including those two moving averages, and that could propel you to $2 and above. After that, you start to deal with resistance levels like back over here on 270, 280, stuff like that. I would still say that's probably where I would scale out, because then I would assume this would make a whole nother pennant of some type where you have to consolidate more and then you move up higher down the road. But again, this is all the way in like March of 2024, so it is a while away. At a certain point when I see positions like this, I don't even think you should probably like sell unless you just ultimately have a stop loss in which you're like, okay, I am just going to be done with this position. Like, I'm just going to be done. I'd probably just hold on for dear life, forget about it, write it off as a loss mentally, and then just move on to something else. Because at this point, the lows that it's had back in June was 52 cents. Sure, it may go down below that, but you still have a small opportunity for it to go up higher and eventually have the breakout here, then breakout there, so to speak. If you wanted to just be like, fine, I give up on this, maybe just wait to see what happens if it breaks down below this trend line right here. That might just be like an easier way to swallow it around like $1.15 or $1, rather than it potentially going back down here to like 52 cents. That way you could at least save some money and reallocate those funds to something else, whether it be a T-bill or, maybe you're looking to do some longer term investing, something like that. Or maybe you're just looking to do some options on Apple or Microsoft or something to that effect, since everything's at those resistance levels and support levels and stuff like that. Well, right now, resistance levels, excuse me. Go. Because everything we're seeing as far as, Bitcoin's concerned, let's see. I guess we had a small breakout here. But like at this point, nothing is really pumping here. We got Solana still doing some moves, but that's about it. There you go. We're going in the right direction. That's all we can ask for here. See, And hey, Anime Kid, what about the new meme coin? Dude, there's going to be a lot of meme coins over the next few weeks and the next few years. It's going to be very hard to get that one meme coin at a very cheap price. The easiest thing you guys could do is to just spend a few hours every week, not a few hours, just an hour every week doing some crypto token research and kind of figuring out which tokens have the best communities, which ones are lively even at this point, the kind of this market that we're in. And then from there, put a small bet that it's going to go parabolic in the future. And that bet would be as large or as small as you want it to be. I usually think $100 is fine. $500 is usually really good, but that could be a lot for a lot of people. But I think $50 is reasonable for the average investor because, you know, right? If you have $50, you know, and let's just say it goes up like a meme coin, let's just say it does a very good thing. Let's go, it goes up 3,000%. Okay, that's realistically a good meme coin, not your average meme coin, but a good meme coin. You know, that 3,000% turns into $1,500, right? So 50 to 1,500. That's something that I think a lot of people would like. A lot of people are greedy and they want more than that. I understand. But usually $50 per coin allows you to kind of move that money to lots of different tokens. So you have a better chance of getting that one token that may hit 10,000% or, you know, 10,000%. Very low chance. But, you know, that turns a $50 into $5,000. So you got to view it in different ways. But the meme coins are going to be crazy for a while. Like if you do 1,000%, you know, $50 to 500. But if you put like $100 in there, you know, then you're looking at $100 to $100 to 1,000. Why does that feel wrong? Increase 1,000% difference. Oh yeah, no, it's only 1,000. Yeah, you're right. Jesus, sometimes my head is broken. But yeah, so it all depends on how much it goes up and what you're thinking about it. But usually the easiest way to get around all that is just to say, hey, a little baby breakout on Solana right now, or maybe about to be one. It's just much easier to kind of do a scattershot approach to those types of meme coins because I've already heard of so many meme coins and I have no idea what's going to work out. I've bought tons of different meme coins out there to see what happens with them. I want to say like at least 30% of them, probably 40% of them, are like down 40 to 80% on the year. So I've taken my gambles with them. I'm not selling them, but not all of them have been doing fantastic. There are some that are doing great, but there are also a lot that are still not doing fantastic. So if I were to overinvest in all of them, you know, it would make it very painful. Like you go over here to coinmarketcap.com, go over here to my watch list. Now I don't own every token on this list. It's a watch list, not like a portfolio type thing. But, you know, you go year to date, you know, Bluezell, that's up almost 500%. Bax is up 257%. You know, there are some good ones in here that I've been doing well. There are some like Polymath right here that I don't own, but it's still up like 141%. I'm mad at it by it in hindsight, but, you know, I'm not going to play around with it too much. But you see these market caps, $119 million market cap, $13 million market cap. Even if I were to buy them right now and they go parabolic, I'm still making a lot of money with it. But on the other hand, Trustverse, I don't own this one. I own some no, I don't own Z. Clisto is what I own. That one's down 75%. I could have bought Trustverse, but that one's down 97% right here. So, you know, let's go look at Trustverse. Let's go to the Twitter. Oh, they haven't posted since January 3rd. Oh, God, that's a long time ago. On New Telegram Korea. I mean, let me go see if I can find their website, I guess. I mean, they pretty much gave up. They don't even have a domain anymore. Right? Let's go back over here very quickly. Let's go somewhere that maybe more mid-tier. Like Spell Token. I still own a bunch of Spell Token as a $54 million market cap. I'm okay with it being down 4% year to date. I own a lot of this stuff. But I bought it at even cheaper levels than where it is now, so technically it's up quite a bit. But again, go over to Spell Token. I'm pretty sure they're still humming and buzzing on social media. 117,000 followers. They just posted October 25th. Not as often as I'd want to, but it seems to be doing fine. October 13th. So they're tweeting a few times a week, and that's good enough for me. But they're still active, and I'm pretty sure they still have a website. They better have a website. Now, if they didn't have a website, their coin would be all the way gone, right? But make your interest-bearing assets liquid. That's kind of nice. I kind of think that's pretty cool. But what do you call? They always make it seem so weird. It's the blockchain applications that are. But yeah, so it's gonna be risky no matter what. And hey, computer guy, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being a member. Sorry, Loki's over here making moves. As far as Arbitrum, I still like it. Now, if you're talking about the next few days, I would probably be still buying at this point. It's just hard because what you have on Binance isn't a lot of information when it comes to moving averages, what I typically like. But you see how we're about to break out above the 200 daily moving average, although the 200 daily moving average is still relatively new. Actually, we did just have a smaller breakout here for new breakout structure. Almost have like a not looking too bad. It would have already hit my price target. Looks like $1.16 is not too far away, and that kind of matches up with this level of resistance you're seeing up here. So I'd probably say I'd be holding up until then. If I had a stop loss, that stop loss would be around $1. I'd still be giving it a lot of leeway here. Now, one of the things I'd say I probably would like about this, if you look at kind of like a longer term view on it. Oh, what the heck? There you go. You know, we did have that breakout. It's still going strong. How much stronger? Not entirely sure. Like I said, I'd still expect it to go up. Sorry, Loki was making weird noises. And I was like, what the heck? Or playing with his ball, but also crashing into stuff. And I'm like, what the heck? Alright, there we go. Yeah, it's like a bag and a toy over here. But yeah, I'd still expect it to go higher from here. I don't even think what... Yeah, MACD is still going strong. You're having the momentum not necessarily go back down. Kind of flatten, but not go down. It looks fine to me here. And again, like I said, the stop loss around $1, 6% from where it is now. A little bit larger than you might think so, but that kind of matches up with here, 99. Yeah, up here on a 99, 78. Oh, double bottom there. Let me get out of this very fast, though. Maybe 4-hour chart's going to be better for this. Where's my cheat sheet's down here. It is, oh, there it is. Okay. Very interesting. Oh, freaking magnet. Okay. I mean, it's had a small effect on it so far, hitting some of those resistance levels. Doesn't seem like this one too much of a problem here for you. Some levels, yeah, I guess it mattered, but not too much, honestly. Okay. So I think it might just be in the realm of consolidation before another pop here, but I still think it has a lot more room to go up at this point. If I back out of this one more time here, the last thing I would just try to do here is just add a... I'd probably want to add a pitchfork on here. That's not what I'm... Oh, there's pitchfork, Jesus. Okay. And what happened to my background here? Whoa. That is not what I thought it was going to be like. That looks a little bit better, yeah. All right. Maybe I should be using this on the daily. Lock. Relock. Lock. Okay. Yeah, a little bit better right here. We don't need them. I guess it doesn't hurt to have. A lot of times people don't have this blue one in right here, but I think it's still worth it. Breaking out. Resistance. I still think you're in a good spot at this point. You have a decent level of support. That support looks to be around $1.05, and it's around $1.06, so not too bad. One other thing I might do here is just to kind of go over here and make it do a audit shift. Maybe this one's a little bit more realistic as far as maybe you just need to get it back above that 106.8. It's 106.3 right now, yeah. I wouldn't even pay attention to it right now. I'd just say focus on breaking above that 200, and it kind of all blends itself together at this point. Because all I see at this point here, if I go out a little bit later, I don't really have much context of what happened back over here. And that's just when I launch it. Oliver Trim is relatively new, isn't it? Normally I don't do them too much like this. No, it'd be inside. There you go. Hey, you really are just raring up to go, aren't you? Yeah, I would still say I'd be long at this point. I'd be long with the stop loss at $1. Oh, wait, I wanted to see if Solana was going to break out or if it was just going to teeter off. There you go. Doesn't seem to be a lot of people that want to buy here to make this thing pop off, but we'll watch and see. No, D-meme coin? Oh, I have no idea what D-meme coin is. 50 million Luna? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of Luna. But hey, a lot of people are buying a lot of stuff, and as long as it pops, you guys are fine. You know, some people own trillions of tokens because they only cost like, 0.0 something to the 28th power. And hey, Buff, what's my favorite microcap? Right now, my favorite microcap, I would say, is, well, I don't even know what you're gonna probably think of a microcap, but it's probably gonna be STMX. So part of my reasoning for that is because it does have a low market cap. They do have a pretty active social media, but it really comes down to when you look at something like an STMX. Just got my watch list here. Here it is. STMX right here. It's up 128% this year. It's good, but it's not the best at a lot of stuff. But as a market cap of only 80 million, so tiny, in my opinion. One of the reasons I like it is because it's like an actual company. It's an actual app. They make money. They make profit. And I've tried to navigate what could be coming down the pipeline when it comes to regulations in the future. Because you guys know, if you guys go to any exchange at this point, it could be something like a Fairdesk or a Binance or a Tapbit or a Femex, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's tons of different tokens to trade, and lots of different stuff out there, right? Look at everything going behind me. Lots of stuff. I'm not entirely sure if in the future, even a quarter, even 10% of these tokens will still be allowed legally to be traded in the United States if new regulation comes down. Now, I'm not saying that's what the regulation is going to be, but I've tried to hedge that a little bit. And so I'm hoping that this being an actual company that's earning money, that actually has a product, it can go about careers and stuff like this, our vision, what's your hiring process? Do you work with interns? They're not hiring anybody, it looks like, but they have a debit card. They have their own stuff hooked up. Oh, see, the card is currently on pause, so that's not even working. But what do you call, I'm hoping that down the road, it'll be allowed to be traded. And if it's one of those things that's allowed to be traded, then it may have access to go on to different apps like a Robinhood or a Webull or even a TD Ameritrade if they eventually allow cryptocurrency trading. And then it'll have an opportunity to go parabolic there. So I'm holding quite a bit of this for the short term. And by short term, I mean like the next bull market. But I'm also holding a nice little stack to see what happens with it in the very, very long term. But again, you don't really have to hold a lot of it because the market cap is just so cheap, right? So they have a lot of stuff going on. I mean, they got labs and referrals and stuff like this. I don't really pay attention to this type of stuff. But you know, they're on TB Twitter. They have a Discord. They have an Instagram. You know, they got 78,000 followers. They just posted 15 hours ago. We've upgraded the brand discovery by adding logo color backgrounds to all brand pages, improving the web version of StormX Shop, right? So they're still growing and they're still doing work at this point when cryptocurrency isn't 100% back, right? And it looks like they partnered with Temu too. So now if you buy stuff with Temu, you get 13.5% crypto cash back, right? So you are getting STMX back when you do that type of stuff, not necessarily cash, but you know, I'm okay with that. So that's kind of my reasoning for STMX. I'm kind of afraid of what's going to happen when regulation eventually does come out and how strict it may be. Because, you know, we don't know if Joe Biden's going to be president. We don't know if Trump or DeSantis or the other Democrat that just got into the race or Kennedy. They all have such differing views on cryptocurrency where I just want to have a little bit of protection with some of my more speculative bets. And again, you know, $100 million market cap, teeny. So, you know, even if it went down to zero tomorrow, I'd be upset, I'd be frustrated, but it would not, you know, I'd still be able to pay the bills just fine, so to speak, right? What's a good mobile broker? I have a link down below. I like to use Fairdesk because they have a decent app, or more than a decent app. It's a really nice app, but it all depends on what's available in your country. So maybe you don't have access to Fairdesk. If you're in the United States, you should have access to it. But I'd say Fairdesk. And hey, Tony, still gonna dump Sam Bankman leftover bags? Oh, you mean long term? Yeah, I mean, this could all just be one big pump where the whales are letting loose on some of the larger positions. But so far, we haven't seen any of that. Those whales have still been holding on. But I think Solana's probably going to do fine in the long term here, just in unless there's some more news that comes out. The negative news doesn't seem to have affected it as much as you would think. It's had its rough times, but not as much in recent months, right? If it gets so low it barely moves, it's like a stable coin. Yeah, because there's a lack of liquidity. Nobody's trading it. So a lot of times when you see a token that's crashed down so much, usually what happens is that the exchanges will start to delist it, so nobody can trade it. People are just either holding it or they're just trying to move it over to another exchange so they can sell it. And there's usually not too much. Because, you know, if you go over here and... here, I'll show you something. Let's go to coinmarketcap.com. Let's go to like page 15. Okay? I gotta come all the way down here. Okay, never mind. We're at market cap of 13 million. Whatever. All right. Let's see something like AO's network, whatever this is. You see how it's on KuCoin and PancakeSwap and Gate.io and Crypto.com? Okay. If for whatever reason over the next year or something, it kept on going down and down and down and down and down and down and nothing was ever happening, what you would see happen is it would stop being shown on KuCoin, it would stop being shown on Gate.io, HTX, Crypto.com, whatever else is on here, CoinX, La Token, whatever. It would be taken off of all this. Okay. And then as that goes on, the coin stops having volatility. There's less liquidity in the market, which means it's very hard to buy and sell it, which could be definitely a pain here. Watch Sol push up into the high 40s and just melt everybody's face. I mean, it's definitely a possibility here over the next few days, especially because Bitcoin's just consolidating. It's not actually having a big crash moment. You might see Solana maybe have one more dip and rip type of effect, I would say, because I'm expecting Bitcoin to have a little bit of a dip here as well, but not a crash, just a dip. And that dip and rip should be a nice thing for people to play with. Blowing up nice bit. See, November 23rd dropping more tokens, so it'll surely get wild that day. Oh, I bet. Because what do you call it? We bought Blur on Fairdesk together. You guys convinced me to buy some. It's up 30%. So 15% since we bought it, so they have the 2x leverage play there. But still, doing really well there. And no worries, Sean, I'm always happy to stream with you guys, especially on a Friday night. Dorkle, 1000x. Geez, there you go. That's a huge one right there. I don't think I've had many tokens in like these type of days that have gone up 1000% or anything like that. I'm hoping for thousands of percents, but I gotta wait a long time for that. But I mean, if I gotta wait a year for 1000%, I'll wait a year for 1000%. I don't think people understand how waiting can just be a lot easier than trying to like trade, day trade, swing trade, do all that type of trading. Just buying some, loading up. It's a lot nicer. It's a lot nicer. Thoughts on Bitcoin miners? I got my eyes on the Wolf Feb calls. As long as their energy prices aren't getting out of control, depending on where they're at in the world, I think they're still fine for the long term. I would just say be careful because oil prices up until a few weeks ago were really high, and you may see that the energy cost in order to kind of keep these mining rigs running has been more expensive than they thought. In the long run, I'm still pretty bullish on them, but the fluctuations over the next week are probably going to be pretty intense. So just don't get shaken out of it, especially if Bitcoin does want to take that next leg up. There'll probably be some shakeouts out of it, and I would be going after those particular stocks that are not having earnings anytime soon. If they've already had earnings, good, go for it. If they haven't had earnings yet, I'd be a little bit more pessimistic, as the market may try to short them down, even if Bitcoin's kind of going sideways or even up a little bit, okay? Real Smurf cat. Just remember I said it here in your live stream. I remember Real Smurf hat. Speaking of mining, is it worth it to mine shitcoins? To me, it's always been worth it to just toss $5 in there, $10 in there, $20 in there. Because if you take the time to do it, you know, I don't know how many shitcoins one could mine, but it doesn't seem like it'd be worth it from like the setup, the maintenance, and keeping it up. I don't think it'd be worth it. But I've never been a miner. The only miner that I ever knew was there was this cocky guy on TikTok years ago who used to work at a gas station or something, and he was always talking about finance and stuff. He didn't seem to really understand the way finance is supposed to work. I think he kind of read some books and kind of got the flavor of what they were trying to say, without actually the way you have to really move money around in a serious matter and be very cautious about like just spending your money in general. But I remember him getting really heavily into rigging, and he bought a whole warehouse and a whole bunch of stuff in it. His empire crashed along with the crypto markets. And like the little tidbits, kind of like death by 1,000 cuts with like the maintenance of a business, because you know it's a business you're running when you're a miner. That's the only real information that I've had. Oh, is that a little breakout? Little breakout? Go, little guy, go. But what do you call that's really the only time I've really paid attention to a miner in depth, because TikTok kept on showing me his videos, and I was like, okay, I'll see what I can learn. But I think he's now working at a gas station again. And there's the breakout. Okay. I thought it might come, but man, that was teetering there. That was really teetering. And there we go. Nice little breakout occurring as far as Solana is concerned. This is one of those things that's having a lot of active social media followers right now. There you go. Maybe we can see it broke out above this, perhaps. No, it was really more so you could see 1, 2, 3. Maybe 4, but I'd still say there's 3. So there we go. We have that breakout. I was hoping for this, but man, everything's just taking too damn long today. But you know, what's Friday without a breakout somewhere? Dude, a Real Smurf cat. I gotta figure out what the token that is. And hey, the Dutch trader, how old am I? Oh, I'm 29. I'm not that old. I'm not that young. I'm kind of in that middle age area. I've been trading cryptocurrencies for about the last 4 or 5 years now. Been trading stocks for like the past 7, 8 years now. Maybe more, it's around 6 more like long, like formal trading. Yeah, but I'm a dude from Washington State. I don't consider myself anything really special. I have a lot of friends who are larger YouTubers for sure. But I have some like really serious ADHD, so I've never really tried to go all out on a YouTube channel before. I've been putting in a lot more work recently over the last year, and my subscribers have grown considerably because of it. But I'm still learning how to edit and do all that type of stuff, which has been struggle. It's been hard, but not as hard as I thought it would be, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm just 29. Sorry to go off the tangent there. Dorkle. A lot of stuff going on now. Could you explain why the tiny lines that shoot off below and above the candles? I'm sorry, I'm very new to this. Yeah, so Caleb, before I go into that, oh, Kilo Charlie just told you works right there, but be very careful of trading when you're very, very new. You're highly likely to lose money, all right? Just so you know, be careful about that. There is something called paper trading, and I want you to go into investopedia.com. This is the website. This will be where you find a lot of your terms at the beginning. Not invest in Nicaragua. That's something for me. Investopedia. This thing has like a whole dictionary of all the terms you're going to want to know as an investor, okay? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to learn how to do paper trading, all right? And that paper trading is going to be practicing with fake money. That way you're not risking your own real money, okay? Now, and be careful about spending any money on any type of course or anything like that until you kind of got the basics down, okay? Okay, but basically, you have a few different parts of a candle. I can just get a little drawing here. Okay, you got the body, okay? Then you got the wicks. That's what you're talking about, the wicks, okay? So what the body is, if it's a green candle, like this one right here, okay? The green candle means that the bottom is where the candle opened up at. So this is a 5-minute candle. When the new 5 minutes started, this is where the candle opened. You can see how this is where it closed right there. Previous one, opened. At the top of the green candle is where it closed. This is the body, okay? The wick is how high it got during that 5 minutes or during this time frame of the candle. How high it got, but the body is where it actually closed on the top. On a green candle specifically, and right here the bottom is where it opened up at. If you have a green candle that has a wick like this, that means it opened up here, closed here, but it got as high as here and it got as low as here. On the other hand, if you got a red candle, right, that means that at the top, that's where it opened up at, that's where it closed at. This is as low as it got during that 5-minute time frame because this is a 5-minute chart. And this is as high as it got on that 5-minute candle. Now, that's probably not going to explain everything in detail that you want to know about it. But it just kind of gives you an example of what you're looking at when you're seeing these candles move. Because you're going to see more and more candles as you start to trade. Like I'm using regular candles, but there are these types of candles. Ashis. Renkos. Right. All types of stuff out there. Honestly, you know, all I think you need to know is basic candle bars. You can always go above and beyond and get other stuff, but usually for me, regular candles get the job done. Right? Yeah, Investopedia, the best place you can go. YouTube is also another great resource out for you. But definitely take your time before you put any money anywhere in exchange. Like, I get paid by exchanges to promote them and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, like, don't even bother putting money into an exchange until you figure stuff out. The only way you would ever do that is if you were thinking of, like, buying for a long-term investment. Don't try to trade or buy today, sell tomorrow. Only open up an exchange account if you want to buy and hold for the long term here. So be very slow. There are going to be a lot of people, if you like, as you learn how to invest, there was a lot of pitfalls of people saying, invest in this, invest in this, invest in this, invest in this, and buy that, and do this, and do this. Just the safest thing you can do is hold your money in your checking account until you learn more about what's going on. And if you want to buy for the long term, you can, but even then, learn up a lot more before you even start to get into cryptocurrency. Because it's difficult. And there we go. The breakout's still happening with SPY. Sorry, totally. It's not SPY. Solana. It's still going here. So that's good news here. Talk about a wild ride here right now, though. Wasn't somebody just talking about a breakout to the like high 40s? It would be awesome if it did that all of a sudden. And I guess, can you look at STBX? I feel like this stock is trying to bottom as low as possible, then reverse back over $1 any moment. What do you think setting up for a crypto-like run? STBX? Starbucks Group Holdings. It's at 50 cents, 75 right now. Let's go to the monthly chart. Shit, what the hell happened? It opened up at 26 bucks and it's at 50? Oh, it's in Malaysia. Okay. Yeah, definitely a rough road, hasn't it? No dividends, not optionable. Market cap is at 22 million. Float is... Oh, wow. That's a small float here, isn't it? I just want to have a little information about what to talk about here, especially because the market cap is so tiny. Because these are the following subsidiaries: Starbucks rebates, okay, paybacks, Starbucks. So they're building a cash rebate system, okay. All of these people thus far are failures. Oh. They're in the Cayman Islands. Oh, they have an office in the Cayman Islands. Okay. Getting around some laws, I see. Then you got the one in Malaysia. This is probably at Kuala Lumpur. Okay. Okay. I got a general idea of what I'm looking at here. So definitely a shit token, a shit coin, excuse me. Oh my god, yeah, look at that liquidity. Oh boy, that liquidity is awful. No earnings? I mean, so as far as right now, it seems very hard to even try to find a buying opportunity here, because these rises seem to be very rapid and then they die off really soon. So it's almost like, again, because it has such a small market cap, the market cap is 22 million, that by the time this pop happens, nothing else occurs, right? So you might be looking for some whale to manipulate the price action here. That's what I would hope for at the best. But yeah, you can see this was all one move. Somebody bought some here, probably with a market order, not a limit order, and it just shot the price up a few percent. I don't know what was this. Yeah, 35% shot it up there, and it kind of just died back down. And maybe they sold off here in a panic afterwards, but. If I was to buy into this, I would have to do a dollar cost average with the hard max cap. And even then, understand that this is most likely some type of YOLO position. Now, it is at 50 cents, which makes it very cheap, so you don't really have to have a lot of money to buy a lot of this, right? But I mean, this would have to try to hold for a while. It doesn't seem like anything can stop this. Like, this is the weekly chart. It's just falling and falling and falling, and you know, it's been a while since it had like a few green weekly candles to keep up the move. Like, what's the news here? Financial results. And now unaudited financial results. Ugh. Total revenue was 4.0 million for 6 months ended on March 31st of 2023, increase of 36% from 2.9 million same period last year. Income from operations was 2 million. Okay, increase of 31%. Net income was 1.4%, okay, 8%. So the net income was only another 8.6. Number of advertisers was 22 as of March 31st. Compared to 42, can we last say lost half, but I guess they probably got some bigger clients, maybe larger clients. The members were a little bit higher. Number of transactions is down. It must be just larger transactions. The company didn't have revenue from software. Yeah, so far it seems like, It seems like you kind of want to have to be patient for this for a little bit of time and just wait it out. Because you have to wait for like a good stop, or I mean a good like slowdown, reversal, and then ride that wave up. And that wave should be large enough where it's okay, but man, that thing looks, it looks rough at this point to really catch that falling knife. See. NA Dutch, yeah, my name on YouTube has changed a few different times. What, right now I just have my own name, like Michael Whitman on it. But I'm pretty sure it was like Michael Whitman Investing, Michael Crypto, I don't know. I've had a few. It's hard to change them on Google here. And they call me probably, yeah, that, fair enough, dude. Your friend is good for introducing it to you, but be very, very slow. Be very, very methodical about how you like approach all of this. And a small amount of money can go a long way if you're an investor. The best way to make money is not to day trade or swing trade if you don't know much about cryptocurrency. It's to buy and hold for the long term, because, you know, if you you know, and I say, you know, like Bitcoin and Ethereum are the safe things. Everything else, it gets a little bit more speculative. But you know, I'm still holding Solana. I'm still holding Dogecoin. You know, so but take your time with it. Don't worry about like the market's gone up a lot over the last few weeks. Don't let it like make you want to buy into it. When that happens, you get something called FOMO, and that's called the fear of missing out. You know, 99.9% of crypto people will tell you like to buy and sell and some of that. Don't do it. You know, just relax with it. You'll be just fine. But you gotta kind of not rush with it. Toyota. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Missing thing. Oh, Toyota Mobile declared EV basically a fad. Thoughts? No, I don't think it's a fad because the government's trying to force it down your throat. Right? The government is trying to force you to get into EVs. I think as time goes on, I do legitimately think the government, and like, I guess at this point, the Democratic Party in the United States, everybody has their own versions of, you know, which parties and how they kind of focus on this stuff. I don't think the Democratic Party wants combustible engine cars. I think they envision something more of a public transportation utopia, and not so much a world where there's tons of vehicles out on the road. I would still say that oil is going to be around for a long time. They are, but like, the only way America gets a lot of electric cars in a very short amount of time is if we open up our market to Chinese vehicles, and we get a lot of those cheap, tiny ones, those cheap, tiny cars. So like as Solana keeps on breaking out now, which is great news. Let me find some here. Let's get rid of a lot of this stuff. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. That. There you go. Now we go back over here to Solana. All right. Okay, well, I couldn't find stuff for the world, but you know, you get a Chevrolet Bolt for $27,000. That's not bad, right? Small, but I think it gets the job done. Oh, I guess this is like another version of it. Nissan Leaf 29,000, Mini Cooper Electric 31,000. Right? You're gonna need these to drop down quite a bit more, because if, like, to me, if you put up if I have a combustible car engine, or oil running engine, and I have a EV, I'm naturally just valuing the oil car much higher than the EV, because if it's down and I have a new car or whatever, it's much easier for me, from what I understand, to actually get that car repaired. Whereas if my electric vehicle starts to have problems with repairs and stuff like that, it seems like it's much more difficult to actually get that fixed. Not even difficult, just more expensive. And with all those electronic components, I would just assume it's much more difficult for you to do your own maintenance. Like, if my car that I have today, which is, you know, modern, I guess has some techie features to it, if I want to change a light bulb in the car, I know how to do that fine. There is one light bulb where I have to pay the mechanic $100 to do it because they have to remove a sensor. I feel like that'd be compounded greatly if it was a 100% EV vehicle. But I don't know. I don't have an EV vehicle, so my viewpoint is kind of skewed here. But if anybody out there has an EV vehicle, can you change your own light bulbs on it? If a belt messes up, or does it even have belts? But if a belt messes up, can you easily just go over to AutoZone, pick up a new belt, and tinker in your car and not break something by just adding another belt onto it? So, you know, and I know how to fix up older cars. That's something, or not just gas cars, whatever. I don't know how to deal with EVs, and I think it's gonna take a long time for people to learn how to do that. Because, like, if I get an EV car, I just, if it breaks down, can I literally go to AutoZone and fix it? Not everybody can afford to pay a mechanic for a whole bunch of, like, money. Can I literally go to the O'Reilly's, to the AutoZone, say, hey, I need this part for this make and model car, help me out. They give you the part, and then you open up your hood, you do a little tinkering, and then you add it in there. I like doing that type of stuff. Sure, you get some grease in your hands, whatever. It smells kind of good in my opinion. And that's like a nostalgic smell to it. But does it actually, like, can you actually do that? I honestly, I've tried to look, and it seems like not for a lot of vehicles, but maybe there are specific vehicles where you can do that. I'm just not aware of them at this point. M3P is probably the best sedan out there right now. Ooh, I should probably check that one out then. Tesla gang. What do you call? EV is good. Nuclear nest shitting bad. Very bad. And hey, Hira, I'm happy to see you back. We're watching a Solana breakout. We waited for it for like a cool 20 minutes for this thing to break out, and it finally did. So now we're just kind of enjoying that little sweetness before it starts to consolidate again. At this point, the majority of tokens are still kind of breaking even for the day. Nothing too crazy here. And Bitcoin's pretty much just down 0.02%, so not too much here. Let's go over here to Solana, the 4-hour chart. Breaking out. That's nice, what we want to see. Oh, also breaking out above the 20 moving average here. The daily chart, still having a nice big pop here. Probably not going back up to the highs of 47, but I could see us going back up to maybe 42, 43. That wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, because everything else I'm looking at right now seems to be, just You know, let's go over here very fast. Let's see. Test. Oh, sorry. Thought my audio disconnected for a second on part of it. Oh. Is that what's going on? Test. Test, test, test. Oh, no. Okay. Never mind. My bad. I thought something funky was happening, but it wasn't. Ape tokens having a small breakout right now as well. So there's some players making moves right now. Dogecoin's making a nice little hookup as well. Doge on Mars, well, not really doing anything here. EOS. GTC is making a move. Let's go to the hour chart here. Oh yeah, this thing was breaking out a while ago. It broke out at 6 o'clock, so that's 3 hours ago. All right, but back over here, Solana. Solana seems to be making the big move right now. It's at 5%, 4.4, excuse me. There we go. Now I can see if this thing continues to break out or not. I'm rooting for it at least. Currently charging my MP3, enjoying your live. Meanwhile, hey crypto man, I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I know. What do you call? I should probably charge my phone up a little bit later. No, actually, it's fine right now. I've been getting a lot of messages, and I've been having to leave my ringer on, and I didn't really realize how much the ringer drains your battery. But like ping, ping, ping. Luckily, right now I got it on vibrate mode. Uh-oh, we have a small breakdown here. Hopefully that consolidation doesn't last too long and we can continue to pop up. This is nothing to worry about, but you know. You probably see some scaling out happening right here. Because... oh yeah, we hit the 1. Yeah. Giving up some of those gains here. Still broken out though, so I'm still happy with where it's going. But now at least it's back above $41. GTC still pumping up here. Go over to Bitcoin. Watch this steady along for a second. There we are. Oh, Bitcoin's gonna have a move here pretty soon. Ugh, it looks like it wants to move down, but hopefully have a pump up. See it here. Gas is also getting crazy. Yeah, that's true. Well, here, gas prices have really been like all over the place because the world's been on a fucking dumpster fire these past few years. But like, let's go over here very fast. So this is where, you know, America's gas prices, at least. Right now, the current average is $3.43. Where I live right now, we're paying about anywhere from like $4.90 to $5.15. Let's just say $4.90 to be generous to what gas prices can be. Yesterday it was a little bit higher. A week ago it was a little bit higher. A month ago a little bit higher. A lot higher. A year ago higher, right? So gas has been pretty much in the same range, but when you get over to like each state, like Washington's $4.63 right now, Texas is $2.91, New York is $3.70, and California is $5.18. Whoosh. It's probably only going to get more expensive. America needs to... it's hard. America needs to pump more oil and get more gas in the market. But they're trying to do it in a way where they won't have so much supply where the price of oil goes down so much that they're not making hefty profits off of it. At this point, because I think Joe Biden specifically said he wants all of the oil companies to go out of business. I'm pretty sure he said something to that effect. Let me double check. Fact. So like over here, yeah, Joe Biden just announced on CNN he will completely shut down drilling for oil and natural gas on day 1 of his administration. I think he's backtracked from that, so because of the oil crisis, but I still think overall he does not want to have oil be part of the future, so to speak. So he's not really proving much now that oil prices have stabilized a little bit. And if you guys go over here, back last year when oil prices skyrocketed and therefore gas prices really skyrocketed because we didn't really have the refining capacity after COVID to keep everything going. It was kind of weird because America as a whole was pretty outraged. And I saw tons of TikTok videos complaining about high gas prices, high food prices, and stuff like that. As of late, people, I think, have somewhat subtly gotten used to just how expensive everything is going to be. And I don't think they're willing to do anything to change it. You know, because like the only way we change stuff in this country is by voting for other people. It means voting for a different president or a different House member or a different mayor or a different, you know, city commissioner. I don't know, you know, just local bureaucracy elections, right? Bureaucratic elections. That's how you kind of change stuff. But I don't think a majority of people are necessarily going to change their votes based off of the high prices. I think we saw that during the 2022 midterm election, right? Now, America did get kind of gaslit. Yes, the media is overwhelmingly Democratic, but historically they've always been very Democratic. And historically, you know, when Obama was really messing up and like had a really bad time governing the country, you know, the economy was in a real rut and his policies weren't really making things fast enough, you saw him get demolished. Now, that wasn't inflation, that was a recession, a little bit of a difference here. But I think the only thing that really disrupt people on both sides of the aisle to really make that next big jump is if a recession occurs. Everybody keeps saying a recession's going to happen. I think they're probably right, but the timing is so hard about this. And if you guys remember, we did technically have a technical recession last year. And, you know, I guess the technical term is mainstream media. You know, media that's not YouTubers or TikTokers or Twitter folks, you know. They all said there was no recession, even though the negative 2 quarters of GDP had been realized. And so who knows if they would necessarily report that it is a recession. Because we already had one, and they said it wasn't a recession. They kind of gaslit everybody. And, you know, if you're an average American, you're not listening to some guy on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube. You're watching CNBC, you're watching CNN, and they're all saying, well, yes, we've met the conditions for a recession, but let me tell you why this really isn't a recession. And then you listen to their case, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe it's not that bad after all. And, you know, people think that way. Like, here, let me go over here very fast. See. I don't know. It's hard to find a story from 2022 here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to open up this article. Time.com is not. Okay. Time Magazine is a broken website. I mean, here's Forbes. This is, I think, this is done. Yeah, this was updated in a few weeks ago, but okay. So let's kind of just read what they say. Maybe I'm wrong about what they're saying here, so let me just read it to make sure. Don't want to bash Forbes advisor. For almost a year now, politicians, economists, and financial professionals have been engaged in a great semantic debate over whether the United States' economy is headed for a recession or not. One common definition of recession, 2 consecutive quarters of negative gross domestic product, GDP, happened in the first half of 2022. Yet the organization that defines U.S. business cycles, the National Bureau of Economic Research, takes a different view. According to Neber, The definition of a recession is a significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy and lasts more than a few months. We were not in a recession in 2022, and we still aren't in one now. Okay? So, even though everybody and their mom in college is taught this is the official definition, these people had a different opinion. And I don't know what the heck a never is. It's a private non-profit committed to undertaking disseminating unbiased economic research among policymakers. I wouldn't say non-profit or non-biased, unbiased, excuse me. But yeah, so these people were one of the people saying we're not in a recession, but we totally hit the definition of a recession. Remember how bad it got? Wikipedia changed the definition of a recession because everybody was mad about it, and then Investopedia changed the definition until everybody. Now I don't know who those people were, but you guys remember that people had screenshots of the before and the after, and they showed that they had been changed. Now they did change them back because the public outrage was so crazy. Because who would think that Wikipedia or Investopedia would get political in such a way, right? But it happened, right? And so, who's to say it won't happen again? And again, the thought process behind it, if we're going to be frank, and some of you guys may agree with it, some of you guys may not. It's up to you. At least how from my cynical view of American politics, and I'm not trying to, I'm a cynic when it comes to politics in general. I think people believe that if Trump got back into office, America would legitimately fall apart from the seams, and institutions would break down completely, and we'd have a complete civil war. Putin would be launching nukes into Europe, and Africa would be uprising against the Europeans. Like a total crazy time. Okay, people just don't. The establishment thinks that. Okay, if you legitimately think that bad stuff could happen, what wouldn't you do to stop somebody like that from getting back into power when he, at this point, seems like he has a legitimate shot to get back into power, right? And so I think saying, hey, sure, we're technically in a recession, but if we say we're not and try to give a reason for it, I think in my cynical brain, I think that does make sense. Because I don't think in their brains, they don't think they're doing anything. It's for the greater good type of appeal, right? I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I think it did work to a certain degree in 2022, because what was the narrative? This is for democracy. This is for America, stuff like that. I think I heard it on every major news network. I heard it on Fox News. I heard it on CNBC, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, MSNBC. Everybody was talking in those terms as, we have to, this is for the future of America, the institutions, we have to protect them. So like a rallying of the flag effect. And, if the media can scare anybody by just saying a few different words, right? Remember the Sinclair? We are here, somebody's been using disinformation, misinformation, but they had 1,000 times amplified. I'm a very big cynic when it comes to stuff like that. Doesn't mean I'm trying to tell you guys who to vote for, left or right, and vote for who the fuck you want, but I'm a big cynic. And so I'm always cynical, whether it's Trump in office, Biden in office, Kamala, even if Nancy Pelosi won, whoever. I'm a big cynic. The only way I wouldn't be cynical is if I was president, and I have to say I do not want to be president. It seems stressful. Everybody leaves in such a miserable state. And hey, Jonas, right now I only have longs in Bitcoin. That's about it. Stop losses are pretty tight at this point, though. Oh, no, they're at 32,500, I think. That's where the stop losses are. America. Yeah, that was a crazy definition of that, and also pandemic was changed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into the pandemic. That was a shit show in itself. I was huddled up in my apartment for those year and a half or something like that. I did not enjoy the pandemic, that's for sure. I got told off by a lot of people by not wearing masks, And like if I was in a public area that said I should wear a mask, like a restaurant, something, oh yeah, sure, fine, I'll wear a mask in the grocery store. I didn't mind it. It wasn't too much of a hassle in my day-to-day life. It's when I got told to wear a mask outside at a park, that's where I was like, okay, you guys need to back the fuck off. But you know, I wasn't as mad about a lot of it as a lot of people, because I'm in a city, I'm already used to kind of being around a lot of people, and so I didn't mind if I was at a store or something like that. But when it came to like me outside, like just walking, and I was like, you gotta wear a mask, I'm like, no. Because, you know, if you guys don't remember, the news did all these studies and they did all these live tests for people. Like if you cough out into the air, or even Fauci said, oh yeah, if you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask unless you're in like a subway station or something outside, right? And I was just like, okay, well, even the government says I don't have to do that. But people were like freaking out. They were really going crazy with it. But again, you know, it is what it is. Hindsight, 2020, they were like, now they know, well, I don't know if they're going to admit they were crazy, but a lot of crazy people back then. Now all you can do is just say, hey, what can I do now? How can I keep myself safe now? You know, now we know. Remember, they tried to bring back COVID, not hysteria, but they tried to bring back COVID talk about a month and a half ago. You remember that? They were bringing it up. Oh, we got to start thinking about COVID again. It completely died off. Nobody wanted it. Nobody's even getting those, the next booster shot, right? Nobody's doing it anymore. I think old people probably, if the FDA says go get it, I mean, sure, go get it. I'm not going to say don't follow the advice of the government, but the government has made a few mistakes, so I can understand why people are more hesitant to trust them at this point. I think that's where it all comes down to. Credibility keeps on seeping away from our institutions because of the choices they continue to make. And when it comes time to fess up to their mistakes, they double down and say it wasn't a mistake, even though, you know, maybe CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or CNBC or Fox Business, whatever, maybe they won't show the comparison videos, but you know there's a YouTuber out there who will say, this person said in 2020 this, and this person said in 2023 this. They're not really meshing. And then, you know, they change their story, they lie. See, I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I just sucked right into it right there. Some people driving a car alone wearing a mask, that was funny. Yeah, see, I don't get stuff like that. I just never got it. But I mean, like, if it made him feel safer, sure. I don't know. Let's see. And hey, Dutch, that's true. I would say with Trump, there was no fear of a war. They kept on saying there was a fear of a war, but I never thought so. Because they kept on saying that we were going to go to war with North Korea. That's what they said they were going to go to war with. And I don't know. I just never thought, like, if North Korea wanted to launch a missile, I feel like we have everything set up so we can just bomb the hell out of them and we'd be fine. But maybe we're not. I don't know. I like the way you look into our eyes, Michael. I do not enjoy ads while live, though. Yeah, I got to figure out a way to tone that down because I don't actually want them. YouTube did this thing where they changed everything up. So this is like the website here. Okay, they added these two buttons as ads and delay. Oh, actually, it's a delay ad button right here. So I clicked on that. Maybe you guys shouldn't see ads. It delays it for only 10 minutes, though. It might be in the setup process that I have to go in there, but I'll try to find because the ads that are seen on the ads that are seen on YouTube, I don't think they justify me playing them, and so like I don't see money because they changed the policy up, I think, a month and a half to 2 months ago, and I think they want streamers to play ads every 6 minutes or every 12 minutes. I gotta figure out how to turn it off because originally, remember, there were no ads on the stream. I think it just auto booted it up so they could keep on making more revenue, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll figure it out. I'll try to figure it out for the next stream. Remind me in the next stream if you see ads. Maybe I'll try to figure it out because I don't exactly know how to change them at this point. People in South Africa were wearing masks, riding solo in their own car. Yeah, see, it's so weird. Your girlfriend left you because you didn't get vaxxed? Wow, that's... I mean, I remember on dating apps, people would say, don't swipe on me if you haven't been vaccinated. A lot of people like that. I mean, but everybody has their choice. I'm not going to tell you which way to go. I'm just like, hey, I'm be me. Sold 200%. I think it'll get there in a few, eventually, for sure. 200% for Solana is not too bad. But give it time because it does have a higher market cap. I know it's insane, man. Have a good rest of your night. But what do you call? Yeah, ad block is changing as well. Most people probably have to buy YouTube Premium or something like that. What do you call? I think that's it. And hey, Kilo, thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. What do you call? Let me see if I can figure out how it is, because I know, like, here, let me go over here. YouTube live ads change. YouTube is redesigning the stream experience for viewers and advertisers. It says few interruptions, but more clarity when I don't know. Oh, I guess if you guys are watching me on a TV versus a computer versus a phone, I think you guys are seeing different amounts of ads. So this was in September. These are all pre-roll ads. Yeah, so they changed everything in September. Maybe that's when you guys maybe noticed it. Nobody, remember, when I stream, most people don't talk. So the more you tell me about what you like and what you don't like, I can actually change it very easily. I assume very easily. I don't think it's going to be that big of a problem for it. Actually, let me see. Yeah, there's a monetization tab right here. So hold on. I don't go into this tab. Whenever I open up a new stream, like here, let me go over here very fast. Every time I open up a new stream, it always reuses the old settings. Like, see? And I change up the name and the thumbnail, but it's the same settings. So I've been using the same settings for months and months and months now. Okay, so let's go over here. Here it is. Okay, so monetization is on. Choose how mid-rolls appear, and it's skippable, watchable, and it's a schedule mid-roll ads at set frequency of every 12 minutes. Show ads to viewers at different times to maximize revenue, or I can insert mid-roll ads manually. Yeah, see, if I did it manually, then I could choose when the ads would play, and then since I don't really look that way for ads, I don't want to have to do that. So I think all I have to do is turn this off. And I think there should be no more ads. There might be a delay or something. But I think I may have to do that for each and every stream, which doesn't seem like a problem. But I think I'd have to like double check it, if that makes sense, before the streams are concerned. If that makes sense. On the other side, I'm so happy I'm alone. But yeah, the gut feeling for her stays. Oh yeah, I mean, that's why you got to get another girlfriend. I mean, honestly, I'm not looking for a girlfriend to turn into a wife anytime soon, just because I'm planning on moving abroad here sometime next year or the year after. I'm waiting for my sister to move to an apartment so she can take her cat back. But right now I'm wanting to move to Bali for a year, and I think that'd be really nice just to move up to Asia and see what they have out there and kind of travel around a little bit. But then I'm also thinking, like, I have a plan for Ecuador, even though it's still hard to get Loki over there, but it's going to be hard to get Loki over to Bali anyway. I have a plan for Mexico too, so I'm thinking of all these different types of plans. I mean, maybe if it came down to it, fuck, I may just move to fucking Alaska. I don't know, somewhere remote, but I want to live somewhere more outside the country. But maybe, yeah, right now it's Mexico. Mexico would be the easiest to get Loki. Then Ecuador, then maybe Bali, but I haven't really looked into getting a dog into Bali. Like, I would legit pay for us to be on a cruise ship from Alaska or Seattle to Japan, and then take a specified ferry from Japan to the Philippines if it meant Loki did not have to fly, because I'm terrified. I'm like like very scared that he may get stolen. Sure, the odds are he's not, but I would just be so scared, and I would have so much anxiety that I would never want to do it. Which means, you know, I have to take it nice and slow. Or maybe that means that, you know, I take a cruise with Loki that allows dogs on it somehow from like I drive to Texas and they stop me off at Mexico. Like I'm willing to do anything in order to get him to not fly, because the money is not the issue. If it takes time to do that, I don't care what I can stream from my car. I can stream from anywhere. It's the beauty of what I do on YouTube. And, you know, but I don't want to have to hassle about it, right? Get myself a Filipina. And hey, Kilo, I love Alaska. I've been up there a few times, and the fly fishing is really what stands out, because you're fly fishing, and then you just have this majestic background, and it looks like you're in a freaking Hallmark movie. It's great. Any thoughts on how long this Jerome Powell rally will last? Another week at most, maybe. I mean, if we get more bad economic news, that could probably help. Let's see. Hey, this guy, I'd recommend going to Alaska. I don't know if you could drive there. I never thought about driving from Seattle or wherever you are, but it's worth it to stay there for at least like a minimum a week, because there is so much to do. Like a few days inside the town, and then just do some like Airbnb rental cabins. The air is fresh. I mean, like, you know, even Seattle and Washington State, we have our own little nature areas, you know. But the air is fresh. It's nice. The wildlife is there. If you like fishing, it's a great spot. If you have some extra dough to really blow out there, you can always hire a guide. I have yet to do that, but I've had friends that have done it. It seems pretty expensive, but they've done it. They were hunting guides, though. I think hunting guides are more expensive than just a fly fishing guide or something like that. But yeah. All right. But okay, everybody, I'm going to call it a night right now. It's 9:30. I've been streaming for a cool 2.5 hours. I also got to go run a late errand here. I have weed, but I have no wrappers, so I have to go get wrappers. I have to take Loki out to use the bathroom here. Spend a week in Bali. Hey, Football Dream. And yeah, this guy over here is letting me know that he has to go use the bathroom. That's literally what he's telling me right now. So I will see you guys a little bit later. Kilo, thank you very much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. That super chat is worth more than all the ads that I probably got off this video. Me streaming here, guys, with you, besides that super chat, take away the super chat, I think I probably made like $3 or something. I don't like, I stream because I think it's fun. I get paid for exchanges. That's something. But like, if I go over here, hold on a second here before I hop off, because I'm gonna keep the ads off. Just remind me, even if I have to go back and check it now that I know where it's at, I can do it. Hold on a second here. All right. Okay. So the last 2-hour stream that I had, so the super chats was $3. The memberships are $4. All I got from the ads is $3.61. So not a lot. So thank you for the super chats. They do mean a lot, and I appreciate it a lot. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And members, this Sunday, sometime in the afternoon, I am going to be doing like a cool little sit-down chat with you guys. And then we're going to be looking at any stocks and cryptocurrencies that you want to check out. I'll be doing some hard levels of support and resistance that we can kind of have some fun with. Like always, I'm not entirely sure how many people are going to show up to the members stream, but whoever shows up, you'll have my undivided attention for a little bit, okay? Thanks.